So from the Austrian Grand Prix, this has really annoyed me how the FIA have been so stringent on these rules of pushing people off the track, this tight, close, competitive racing, the elbows out. It's really annoying me,
Hmm.
personally, because their whole reasoning for the 2022 cars is to make closer, more competitive racing. I do not want this closer racing if this is what we're going to get. If
Yeah.
we're going to get closer racing, but as soon as you push someone slightly and take the line off the track, 5 second penalty, 5 second penalty, 5 second penalty. And it bit Checo in the arse because he pushed Lando off. Sorry, Lando pushed him off even. Red Bull got a 5 second. Red Bull were like, not even a 5 second penalty. 5 second penalty slapped down. Then it happens to Checo twice later on. He gets given 10 seconds worth of penalty. And it's just like, I don't get what the FAA are trying to do. Do you want them to race? I know there's a level of safety, and I'm not saying let it go wild and I don't want to see incidents because FIA do a good job, like the Grosjean incident. They all the safety precautions, that works really well. But when it comes down to sport and racing, even bringing in stuff like the new pit stop regulations and slowing down pit stops, ruin the competitive nature. You can't put your elbows out. You can't fight on corners. It's a bit like, what are they trying to do here to the sport? What do they want from it?
I think in the scenario of all three of these incidents, so the Lando incident and the two Perez incidents, all three of them, the other driver was absolutely fine. So there wasn't a crash. No one retired. That should be taken
There's no
into account.
spin-off, really.
If those three incidents all happened on the first lap, they wouldn't. If they were like first corner incidents, they're going to give it as a racing incident because they've said, like the drivers have said, they want to be able to go a bit more wheel to wheel and have that sort of competitiveness. The fact that the team, like they said, Red Bull came out and said before the penalty was given to Lando that they don't think it was Christian Horner said, didn't he, on Sky Sports? Yeah. He said, I don't think that's a penalty because he knows that if it was against him, which 20 minutes later it was against him, but he was saying, if it's 20 minutes if it was against him and his driver had done that to keep track position, he would be happy with that move essentially. And the fact that if a team that have lost out like 9 places because of it come out and say, nah, that's fine, that's fair racing, surely the FIA have to take that into account.
They also have to think about it and go, okay, with the FIA, we want fair racing, we want fun racing, all this stuff happening. But essentially, you have 2 drivers. All drivers have massive egos because you're going to have to be confident enough to put a car into a corner at 150 and think, my skill's going to make sure I come out the other side alive. Except that's how it works. As soon as you lose your balls, you're not going to have the confidence to do these moves. So you've got 2 drivers going into a corner. There's room for 1 car. There's 2 drivers. Both of them think, I'm the better guy. He'll get out of my way. What's going to happen is they're going to they'll do that. One will go slightly wide. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get that, again, like happened today with Perez, you're going to get it with Norris. They both think they're the best driver at the time. Then they think the other ones, they've both got the slight mind. They think, okay, I'm slightly ahead. I'll get the take on this corner. Yeah. But neither of them are going to move because they both want the competitive advantage and both want to race. The only time it's just, they just don't know. Okay, they can't see who's exactly that slight bit in front. But if you're not that bit in front, okay, cool. You're both just racing. It's good to watch. It's not dangerous. I can't remember when Bottas and Russell had the collision when Bottas forced Russell off the track and caused them both to be out of the race. Was there a penalty points given out for that? Because if there wasn't any penalty points given out for that incident to either driver, and there were seconds given out for this,
I'm sure George got licence points for that because he then came out and apologised and stuff, didn't he?
He also slapped Valtteri on the head when Valtteri flipped him off. But it's like
racing incident.
That is a racing incident which caused a lot of controversy and damage to both cars and incident, and that because they're both written off and smashed fair. Yeah. This, where you got car going too much onto the gravel, what's going on? Why are you pushing this? Let them race. This is why the old F1 fans you see, even like I remember Jeremy Clarkson on Drive Tribe was saying, I want the old race and the wheel to a bump into the barriers. It's like, that's where you're losing those fans because there's a level of safety, and I agree drivers need to be safe and I don't want them to get hurt and anything like that. But there's a level of competitiveness and then dangerous driving, and this isn't dangerous. This is just purely competitive. Drivers pushing the cars, trying to maximise the area of the track that they can use.
The other thing is, and I think this is kind of, it's not Lando's fault that there was gravel there, because if that was at Paul Ricard and there's all the runoff area, the worst thing that could happen, that would happen in that situation, would be he would be told to give the place to Perez. Yeah. If Perez was genuinely fully ahead of him, and then he pushes him off the track, and then Perez would be like, he's got past me illegally, you get told to give the place back, we all move on. But to get given a 5-second penalty because there wasn't the runoff, and I don't want the runoff. Trust me, like I'd much rather the gravel because it makes it so much more interesting, and it punishes drivers when they make the mistakes because your car gets actually stuck. You know, you can't just carry on cruising around the edge of the track doing 120, being like, oh yeah, I'll just rejoin again.
You bring up a good point there, though, because beginning of the season, Max on Hamilton, Max gained a place by going off in the runoff. Hamilton forced into that position, and Max gained a place to give it back. Hamilton didn't get 5 seconds of forcing Max off the track there.
Because it didn't look dramatic, He just drove off the track and drove back on,
And because it's the same instance, same shit, Hamilton forced off the track, didn't get 5 seconds. If Hamilton got given 5 seconds, but then that could have changed the race. Imagine Hamilton gets 5 seconds there for pushing Max off the track. Max gets back to position. Hamilton's 5 seconds behind him now. It could have completely changed the race. But yeah, let us know what you think about the new FIA and how involved they're being with the sport and the competitive nature. Let us know if you disagree, or think differently to what we're thinking. Comment, subscribe, all that. Cheers. See you later.